Hey everybody, welcome to Face the Music. I'm your host Dave. I'm so glad that you joined me here today. And listen, before we get started, let me make a couple of requests. The first request is if you are watching this, which of course you are, that you would go ahead and if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. I like to grow this channel. I like to grow this community and keep all this great music alive for this generation as well as future generations, right? And the other request is if you haven't had a chance to and you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I've done up to this point close to 50, I think, somewhere in that range. Go back and check out my initial videos. Check out all the other videos. You might find some other great stuff in there that you're interested in. My initial videos were not reaction videos. They were more, just I would present the songs, give out some information about the bands, the artists, and the music and so forth. But still some great stuff I would hope for you. So check that out as well. And also another thing is that I recognize that sometimes the sound quality in some of these is not that great. I'm working on getting a microphone set up where it's going to actually be a little bit better or much higher quality, and that's coming soon. But in the meantime, enough talking. Let's go ahead and check out what we've got. So one thing I'm going to be doing today, it's actually the first time I've done this, and that is I'm going to be going back and revisiting one of my earlier videos, and that is from the band Iron Maiden and their song Hallowed Be Thy Name from 1982. Now, the thing about Iron Maiden is I didn't grow up really listening to Iron Maiden. This song came out early on, and I was still young, preteen. And the only thing I really knew about Iron Maiden, I really wasn't into that kind of music. I was really more into what was, new on the radio, what was hot at that time, and a lot of like new wave and so forth, and even some country. And so I didn't really know what was going on with Iron Maiden other than what I saw in the record stores, which, at that point, we still had record stores. And I would look at their album covers and I would see, some great imagery on these albums, which at the time to me wasn't great. It was actually kind of scary. I see the skeleton and I didn't know it was Eddie. I just knew there was a skeleton and all these what I thought at the time were just creepy images. And so I kind of tended to stay away from them because I really didn't know what to expect. Then a couple of years ago, I actually was listening to a YouTube playlist. And on that playlist, I think it was a greatest heavy metal hits of the 80s or something like that. And this song, Hallowed Be Thy Name, was the very first song on that playlist. And I played it and I listened to it and then I ended up finding this footage that we're going to be checking out tonight. And let me tell you, it's a great song, fantastic song. If you know the band, if you know the song, I think you will agree with me. So enough talking, let's go ahead and get right into it. Here is Iron Maiden and Hallowed Be Thy Name.
When the bell begins to chime, reflecting on my past life, and it doesn't
check him out right there.
much time, 'cause at 5 o'clock they take me to the gallows pole. The sands of time for me are running low.
Right there too, yeah. Wow. He carried that note forever.
When the praise comes to raid me the last night, take a look to the bars of the last night of a world that has gone very wrong to me. Can it be that there's some sort of error? Understand the surmounting terror? Is it really the end of some crazy dream?
Hmm. That's some fantastic guitar playing right there. Check it out. Wow. Little air guitar there. There you go. Get into it. There he goes. Wow, he's really getting into it, isn't he? Wow. Wow. That guitar playing is fantastic. I mean, just, wow. Right in sync. Wow.
Wow, that was Iron Maiden and Hallowed Be Thy Name from 1982. Listen, that is probably my favorite footage of them in concert doing that song. I know there's other footage out there, different concerts and so forth, but let me tell you, if you were at that concert that night, you got your money's worth. Now, I don't know if you've ever actually heard the album version of that song. It's also fantastic, obviously. But Bruce came out there, Bruce Dickinson, lead singer, came out there and absolutely killed it, absolutely nailed it, and he didn't hold back. When you think about a lot of these music shows where people come on and they sing. I'm not saying that everyone has a bad voice or they don't sound good. Obviously, that's not true. But when you think about just pure talent, I mean, there was no editing, there was no vocal overdubs on all of that. I mean, that's just straight simple, just the band playing, his vocals laid on top. Let me tell you, I mean, just he really nailed it. He really killed it. And it's one of my favorite songs. And like I said, I'm not necessarily a big metal guy. I mean, there's bands that I like a lot of their songs, that are considered somewhat metal bands or heavy metal bands, whatever. As I said before, and I'm not even necessarily a really big Iron Maiden fan because it's just not necessarily the kind of music that I'm always into. But there are some songs that every time I hear them, boy, I will stop and I will check them out and I will listen. And that's one of them. And just the subject content of that song, great lyrics, great, just writing. Just the song, the way that it was put together. If you missed any of it, go back and check it out and just check out those lyrics. You saw at the beginning of the episode of the video where he was getting into the song and he kept on motioning to the side with his hand. He was trying to get, I think it looks like he was trying to get the sound tech to turn up the volume. He maybe couldn't hear as well. So he's in the middle of doing what he needs to do, but he's also very keenly aware of things that's going on around him, and the sound needs to be different or better or higher or whatever. And then so you got Bruce Dickinson, you have Clive Burr behind the drums before Nico McBrain took over. Clive behind the drums, of course, Steve Harris out front, bass player, founder of the band, and then you've got the twin guitars of Adrian Smith, and Dave Murray. I mean, come on, those guitars, those guys were super in sync the entire time. And that's one element that really makes that song stand out for me. It's just a great song, great footage. I love to watch that concert video because again, that song is just fantastic. So it's one of my favorites. I hope it's one of yours now as well. Well, that's it for today's episode. Come back and join me next time when I release another episode. Put me on notifications so you'll never miss an episode. We want to keep this music alive. Subscribe, as I said, because we want to keep this music alive for this generation as well as future generations to come. I'll see you next time right here on Face the Music. Take care.